Hello, it's Ollie here at the Crafty Whisk, and I'm so grateful that you could join me today. Hi everyone, so it's that time again when the next card swap is due for the card swap group that I am in, and this theme is Christmas. So this is what I'll be making, and I'll be going through the process of how I do a mass production of cards. So I think I'm going to do 12 altogether. We're only required to do 8, but I really like this design, so I wanted to have a few in my stash for Christmas. So basically what I've got is it's backed by red cardstock, and I've embossed the top and the bottom, and then I've used the word joy die cut, and I've replaced the O with a little chipmunk, and I've just got some red foil stickers on there as well. So what I have used is the Altenew-Dotty Circles embossing folder, and I like to keep a sample of what it embosses in the actual folder because sometimes it gives me a better visual reference than just the clear plastic folder. And because all embossing folders tend to be a little bit different, I also put down what is applicable for my die cutting machine, what works best in the sandwich. This isn't going to be what's right for everyone's machine. This just works for my machine, so you do need to have a play and see if the standard sandwich works. In my case, the standard sandwich pretty much never works, so I've got to always come up with a bit of a jerry-rig or figure out my own way of embossing. So I always write that on the embossing folder storage pocket. And the stamp I'm using is from Snazzi Scrappin, and it's called Cupcakes, and there's all different sorts of cupcakes for different occasions in there as well. And it also comes with dies, and when I have done one of the images in a stamp packet, I like to put down the colouring system that I have used in there if I like it. It just helps me next time. It saves me having to bring out the Copic list or pencil list, all that kind of thing, and I know what colours already work for it, and then I can sort of chop and change if it's for a different occasion. So I'll keep that aside. I'm sorry Orion is singing the songs of his people right behind me, because that is what he does as soon as I switch on the video recorder. Now the die that I'm using is from scrapbook.com, and it's just called Joy. And it is the word which has got like embossing on it, and then it also comes with the shadow die. I'm going to be giving you a tip on how I layer my dies as well, so that I get a bit of depth to them. And I really apologise for Orion, he is going right off at the moment. Okay, so normally when I do a lot of stamping, I bring out my Misty. You've all seen me use the Misty, and I do love it. It's fantastic. But sometimes it's too bulky for what I'm actually needing it for. So I normally use this little one for sentiment stamps because it's fantastic. This is from We Are Memory Keepers. It's their mini stamping platform. So it only has a surface, I've never actually measured it actually. Let me have a look. About 5 inches by about 2 3/4 inches. So it's not big. It works fantastically just for small images. And all I've done is I've popped a little bit of sticky grid in there. I think it's the Sizzix sticky grid mat that you can use in their the Big Shot, all that kind of thing. So I just put that there so that my paper stays in place, because it doesn't come with any magnets. It doesn't have a magnetic base, so it needed something to be able to secure the paper there. So I'm just going to pop my piece of paper there, and it sticks nicely, as you can see, to the sticky grid. I've popped my stamp ready to go on there, and then it's just a matter of inking it up. And because I'm using Copics, I am using the Memento Tuxedo Black because that is Copic friendly. And then I just bring the stamp pad to the stamp, and then these little holes line up with the little pegs, and you just push down. And I always stamp twice, I think because my little stamp pad does need re-inking, but it never hurts, and it will stamp exactly in the right place. And to do multiple images, I just turn the piece of paper cardstock around and do another one. So it's such an easy stamp platform to use. They do come in bigger sizes. I have a bigger size on order because it does pretty much the same things that the Altenew stamp wheel does. But for us in Australia, it's a much lower price point, which is always nice. So I'll just clean up a little bit, put that back. Alrighty, so now I have my two little, I think they're chipmunks, and I just secure that with just an elastic band and store it. Okay, so now to colour him in, I've got all my Copics here that I'm using, and I've written down, I'll just bring that up to the camera, that's all the Copics that I'll be using. It really lends itself to watercolour as well, I think, this image. I'm just going to put a bit of scrap paper underneath, because when you do Copic blending, it's always nice to have something under to absorb any extra ink if there is any. So I'm just going to do the pudding first, and that's E59, 27 and 25. Hi Orion, you've stopped singing the songs of your people, have you? So I'm just sort of going with the pudding bit. There's no rhyme or reason to how I'm colouring. I'm just sort of laying down a little bit of darkness. Then go in with my mid-tone. And pretty much go around all of the edges. Just blend it out a little bit. And then with the light one, just sort of blend through. You don't have to do any fancy colouring here. You can spend time on it if you like. Okay, I might as well do the other one at the same time actually. Alright, now if you have gone into the bits where you don't want the colour to go, like I have, you just use your colourless blender and just push that colour back. And if you've gone outside the line, like I have there, if it's going to focus, just there I've gone outside the line a bit, you just grab a white jelly pen and just go over it, and then no one even knows it was there. Of course, it only works on white cardstock. Okay, I'm going to do the icing. So I'm doing that with C1 and COO. This will just give the white a whiter look. I know that sounds really weird, but it actually does work. So I just go in with the C1 first, and then the OO, I just sort of blend it out a little bit, but I'm not taking a lot of care to do it because you really don't actually see this. It just highlights the fact that the icing is white. And if you like, you can make it like a nice yellow colour and have it as custard. That works too. I just know when I did my cake decorating, I used to make these little Christmas pudding, little mini ones you could just pop in your mouth, and I always used white chocolate as the topping, which is why I've just gone to the white. Alrighty, now for the top of his head and his feet, I am using YR18, YR16 and Y38. So again, I'm just going to go in with the darkest No, O'Brien, you can't eat the lid. Not good for you, buddy. And I'm just going to go around the side of his face just a little bit. Just a touch on the paws. Oh, hey Riv, you just made me go out the lines, baby. And I must apologise, I have been a bit absent from YouTube and Facebook in general lately. I caught that horrid flu that's going around, and I was actually bedridden for a little while, so I just had to look after myself a little bit before I could come back and do more for you guys. It didn't help that I was coughing up a lung every time I opened my mouth, so I'm sure you all don't want to hear someone coughing and spluttering. So I thought I would just take a break and recuperate. Okay, and now the lightest one. I'm doing this quite quickly, and it's actually doing me a bit of disservice because I'm going out of the lines all over the place. I just sort of brush across and make sure that I leave the depth of colour where it needs to be. Now I'm going to do the little berries, give the face time to dry. I'm doing R46 and R29. And it's just basically just a little scoot of the dark one. I was going to try and do it upside down, but I don't think I'm quite that clever. And then I go in with the lighter one just to finish the berries off. So not super complicated colouring here at all. You can even just get away with one red instead of two. The greens I'm using are G09 and YG09. So the G09 is the darker one. So I'm going to go in first. I'm actually going to go in the lighter one, which is the YG09. And I'm going to lay down the base because all I want the dark colour to do is follow the vein of the leaf. Like I said, it's not complicated colouring. You can go in with 3 shades of green and really shade it. But it's a Christmas card. People do not keep Christmas cards. They sit on your mantelpiece for the season and then they get chucked. Okie dokie, now I'm going to get my pinks. I've got R21 and RV13. So I'm going to go with the RV13, and I'm actually laying down his cheeks, inner ears and his nose. And I'm doing the cheeks because it is actually quite a bright pink and I want to dull it down. And I'll be doing that with the colours I'm colouring his face in. So then the lighter pink, all I'm doing is blending out the ears, that's it. And then his face is YR27, E97 and E95. So the darker one, no buddy, don't. The darker one I'm going around just the edge of his cheeks. I'll do both at the same time. Mid-tone, which is the E97, just going to bring that out a bit and just extend this one to the paws as well. Bring that colour out a bit and then blend it all out with the E95. So I'm just going to take a little bit of time on the cheeks and near his paws, and then just a couple of sweeps across his face, just keeping that nice and pale. And that will lighten up really nicely. Now I'm going to cut them out. And I like using smaller bits of paper to do these small images, then I can just fit it through my little die cutting machine, whether it's the Hefty Doodle one or this one from Spellbinders. This is the Scout. Now it doesn't have a magnetic base, so I am going to just stick it down with some low-tack tape and run it through. And then just flip it around and do the other one. Okay, so that's the little guy's done. I'm using this little magnetic tray that I got from Japan, and I jerry-rigged it and put some more magnets on the back because it wasn't quite magnetic enough for dies. So the embossing, I actually do need my big machine. Now the sandwich I used was the base plate. The embossing folder and then the clear plate. So I'm just going to pop in the embossing folder. Now I'm doing all this in Australian sizes, so they're not going to be for a A2 American size. So it's an Australian size piece of card that I got in there, so that's why it's hanging out a little bit. Always put the folded edge into the machine and then run it through. And that will give me a beautifully embossed card. Now I need to trim this down to the sizes that I need. And Orion, thank you. On the back I've written on all my sizes because I'll keep this as a reference card. So my embossed panel, I need 2 pieces that measure 4.4 centimetres by 10.2 centimetres. Like I said, I'm doing Australian measurements, so it's all going to be in pretty much in centimetres. Okay, so first I am going to get rid of, actually what am I going to do? No, I'll do it this way first, and this one needs to be 10.2 centimetres, which is roughly there. I can trim off more later if it needs it, because the grid lines are for inches, not for centimetres, so it is a little bit tricky, so it's a little bit of guesswork when you're doing Australian sizes. 4.4 centimetres, which is roughly 1 3/4 inches. Okay, I can trim them down further if necessary. Alrighty, so now we have all of our bits. I keep them in just a little tray. I got this just from a $2 shop. I think it's just a, don't know what it is. I think it's for the bathroom. I don't know, but it just has little dividers in there. So I've got my little chipmunks, I've got my embossed pieces, I've got my joys all cut out, and I've got the shadow joys all cut out. Now the cardstock that I'm using isn't very thick, the red that I wanted, because you know how you look for a specific colour and it's not thick enough cardstock, so I've actually used quite a thin cardstock, so I have to double it up. So what I do with that, I've left one to show you how I do it. The negative spots that we get out of our die cuts, like this one here with the chipmunks, I've actually used this negative spot. I'll show you on this, it's just as easy. What I'm doing is I'm layering these together, and I layer about 3 or 4 thicknesses. This one's 4 thicknesses. So I just glue them together and it creates a deep cavity in there. And then what you can do is you can utilize this. I'll just put it against something that's so you can see a bit better. your die cut will now just slot into the little holes there. And because I cut them all out of red, and these are red, I've cut it again out of white so that the top is white and I can see exactly where I'm going. Ryan is messing up all my bits. Thanks, buddy. So I'm just going to make sure I've got these the right way around. It's a thin one I want to be the top layer, and I've used a different colour red for the base layer just because it was a thicker cardstock, and it's close to the colour but not exact. So now I just pop glue onto that one and pop the top one on top, and it's easy to do because it just all slots into the space that you've got there, and it is perfectly lined up. So that is my hack for stacking your die cuts, and this I will keep in the pocket so that I can utilize it again. So it's just going to go back into my die cut pocket, and while I'm here I'm going to pop my actual dies back in there as well. Okay, so now we've done that bit, we are pretty much ready to assemble. So what I'm going to do, I've got all of my card bases. Now the red cardstock is 10.5 by 14.8 centimetres, which is our Australian standard A2 card size, and the white panel on top is 10.2 by 14.5, so that will give me a thin border around the whole edge. So it's not a thick border at all, it's only about 1.5 mil around the edge, and then it's just a matter of stacking everything onto that. So the first thing I will do is I'm going to use this bit last because I need to trim these down if they need trimming. So one's going to go at the top, one's going to go at the bottom. That's okay. So that is just going to go down matching the edges, and I do have to trim a bit there. That's okay, I was anticipating that I would have to do a trim. So again I'm going to go in with the glue, seeing as it didn't like the tape runner. Double-sided tape would work as well, but that will take too long for me. But if you're prepping it all in advance, it shouldn't be an issue. Alright, so now I just need to trim that little bit there. Having long bladed scissors is really good for this, or you can use your trimmer. Okay, so that's all trimmed up. Now I can go in with the Joy. Just look at my sample. So I've got him and I've got him. I need the Y and the J. Just got to find a J. There we go. And I will use the O. Now what I need to do here is a little bit of surgery because he's a little bit big. So I'm just going to go in and chop off the Y and go straight down, chop off the J like so. I'm going to stick, will I bother sticking the, I might stick the O onto his back just so he's got a little bit of height, so he's going to be the same height. Like so. And I actually want to elevate him, but not a lot because we have to stick by 5mm height rules for the card swap. Oh, that's nearly empty. Grab that one. So I'm just going to pop, these are just 2mm high. I better put one in the middle actually. Put one there. Alright, so I'm going to stick him down first, but you'll notice I haven't stuck anything on the edges here. That's so I can slot in the Y and the J nice and easily. So I'm going to use, because I can't see straight for the life of me, just going to use a ruler. He's a bit big, so he'll probably go roughly there. And I need to stick down the white J and the white Y. I'm just going to use tape runner. Okay, so that's the Y. I'm using it on a non-stick mat, that way any residue will just scrape off. Alright, so now I've got those done. They should just be able to slot in there. Yes, they do. So now I will bring the ruler in. There we go. I'm just going to use tape runner. Might use tweezers for this bit. Pop in the J. And the Y. Like so. Now, can I have that bit of paper there, please, Orion? Thank you. Look at that. Now you've put your little marks on it. You scallywag. Hey? Alright. Where's... Yep, that won't be seen there. Okay. Just make sure this is running after I've... Yep. Again, you can use glue, double-sided tape, tape runner. Oopsie-daisy. And get this down as straight as I can. There you go. So now I'm all set to do all 12. But that is, oh no, I'm not ready yet. Oh, I forgot the bling. I can't forget the bling, Orion. Can we? Eh? So this I would do before I stick it down to the red panel, because there is a bit of overhang. But that's okay, it's not too hard to deal with after the fact. And I'll show you where I got this sticker from in a minute. And that one just adds that little bit of something something. There we go. Oh, I know what else I forgot to do. If you want to, you can just go around a few little bits on the chipmunk. Orion, don't eat the pen lid, please. Thank you. That's mine. Just like so. I think that's all it needs. And the sticker is from, I get it from eBay. They're an Australian company. I'm not sure if they ship overseas. Springwoods Crafts. They're on eBay. And a whole sheet is $2 Australian, so very, very cheap. They've got all kinds of stickers. I like the little thin lines because it actually saves on my metallic cardstock, because cutting thin strips of metallic cardstock, yeah, it's fine, it's doable. But the sticker is just so easy because you don't have to worry about glue seeping out. So there you go, that is my Christmas card swap for 2024. Let me know what you think in the comments. Please like and subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss it when I bring out a new video.